Hey guys, I'm just leaving the theater tonight. Some of you know I'm a big proponent on giving people second chances, and what I've noticed over the last couple months is a lot of key key people, big people in our fitness journeys and our life in general and stuff like that. Got a little smudge right here. They have started to flip the script. They um, they are starting to see that they were wrong. They're starting to see that they were following the trend of everybody else saying a ketogenic diet is bad. They were starting to follow this path of people like Jillian Michaels and Dr. Bernard and all these other yahoos out here that are talking about a ketogenic diet not being beneficial to your body in general. But when you break it down and you look at the root cause of most of the conditions that we have to deal with, it's from some kind of chronic inflammation. There's no diet out there that reduces that. There's only two diets that I know of. And these diets can be treated as lifestyles. And these lifestyles are lifestyles that should be treated as something that you would potentially like to do for the rest of your life without minimum slip ups because it's just a natural style of living. So when I bring up the fact of a ketogenic diet or a carnivorous diet, people automatically think, oh my God, there's just so much fat involved, I'm going to be sick. It doesn't work that way. Saturated fats are your body's primary fuel source on a ketogenic diet, and then you start getting into mono and polyunsaturated fats, where those are the fats that surround the cells that allow for connectivity, information transfer, and stuff like that. Very important. But the majority of the fat that you used, your body likes to use for energy, comes from a saturated source. So I always like to tell people, if you consume too much sugar or carbohydrates, if those are supposed to be so natural for you, why in an overconsumption form does your body turn that into, you guessed it, saturated fat? So if my body takes something that's so damaging as it is already and creates excessive inflammation in my body, and I overdo it, and then it turns it into saturated fat as a natural fuel source or a storage fuel source for a later response to something in an emergency situation because I can't process it all out or I can't use it. There is some truth to calories in versus calories out, but it's not totally true. There's much more to it than that, which I will cover in a later video. As of right now, the way it sits though, my body is primarily fat fueled, and everything in your body is built off of fat and protein. There's nothing really in your body in an abundance of a form that comes from sugar or carbohydrates. We know that your brain can use sugar and carbohydrates as fuel, but it's simply more clear. It's more awake whenever you have fat, ketones for fuel. And your body, I was recently reading a study where it talked about your body's actually smart enough to switch between a carbohydrate or a ketone if it wants to. 99.9% of the time, if it has a sugar present, it's easier for your brain to use that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's healthier using that. So the video that I'm going to link down below is the Dr. Oz and Montel Williams, where he's actually talking about MS. He's talking about how the ketogenic diet has pulled him out of this state of unhealthy being and stuff, where he's had a stroke, and he Dr. Oz finally let him come onto the show so that they can talk about how healing and how beneficial a ketogenic diet is. So Dr. Oz has completely flipped his script. I think now there's so much pressure and stuff from social media in general. I think now so many people are healing from the ketogenic diet. I think now vegan push and stuff like that pushing back, and it's starting to spread so rapidly, people have no choice but to change. They're going to look like fools if they don't change. The government has no choice but to change. Eventually, everybody's going to have to change, or they're all going to look like liars. So whenever ABC was doing their special where they had their nutritionists come on and they were talking about the ketogenic diet, and Sarah from I forget her name, she was on there. She's got her own keto group and stuff like that. Was talking about all the weight that she lost. She's got a cookbook out and stuff now. She's a phenomenal person. She's lost over 100 pounds. The nutritionist there kind of like downspoke the ketogenic diet, was playing it out to be something that was unhealthy because of all the fats and stuff like that. You got to be careful this and you got to be careful that. It's not the case at all. That wasn't the case at all. And since that, have you noticed how many talk show hosts have switched? Have you noticed how many people that used to be against it before are no longer against it anymore? Have you noticed how much Dr. Oz has changed in the last 4 months? You can't get away from it. You cannot avoid it. Too many people are healing way too fast, and these people that are like social media figures or celebrities and stuff like that, they can't hide it. When you got Al Roker coming forward and actually saying, hey, I'm sorry to tell you, but the ketogenic diet does work. And these people that are saying it doesn't, they don't know what they're talking about. Or how about Holly Berry? Or maybe when the guy for the LeBron James cycles ketogenic diet for training and stuff like that, doesn't stay in it consistently. These public figures, these social media figures and stuff, are actually stepping up and stepping forward, saying, "Wait a second, this stuff they're lying to you. It does work." And for you to talk against it when it doesn't even seem like it's a diet to begin with is kind of silly. It's a lifestyle that we've learned to adapt to that's not hard to do at all. You just eat good whole foods. You just have a higher level of fat, a moderate to low level of protein, and you just try to keep your carbs as low as you possibly can, and your body simply is able to learn to thrive off of this. Well, look, Holly Berry's posting pictures and videos of her with Maria Emmerich's cookbook all over the place. People are starting to get so much more recognition when it comes to the ketogenic diet in general. Now this whole movement about bashing keto and stuff is just completely, like, slowly going away. It picks up in some areas because it's gaining so much headway, but then in other areas it's really falling apart. Like, so many people are not talking trash about keto anymore. People are actually starting to see, like, okay, maybe I should try keto because there's something to this, and now all of a sudden people are healing off of it. And it's not something that's just all of a sudden. It's kind of always been there. It's just things that the government has wanted to sweep under the rugs. It's eventually they're going to have to come forward and answer for the last 70 years of why you've been giving us bad nutrition information and making people more sick and prescribing more medication to fatten your pockets when people could have been healthier for years. Loved ones could have lasted many more years on top of the conditions that they had if they would have just learned what to do to thrive and be healthier. We wouldn't have to say goodbye to our family members and friends at an earlier age because of such poor advice that was given by staying away from cholesterol and staying away from fat, things that are essential for the body to heal, to thrive, to build, to grow with, to adjust hormones and stuff off of based off of dietary intake. But stripping this stuff away from us has been so negligible and devastating for so long that people live their whole lives with hormone imbalances, inflammation that's crazy, and eventually it spreads throughout their body. It affects their brain, it affects their organs, it affects their hormone production, and it affects everything in their life. Men at the age of 20, 25 years old are becoming impotent. I mean, women are realizing at 20, 25 years old they can't have babies. MS, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, and stuff is starting to spread through people's bodies at such a young age. It's crazy the fact that it wasn't like that before. We didn't have conditions of men losing their hair and balding by the time they were 21, 22 years old. That was a genetic thing that would happen and that you could end up getting from your father or your grandfather. But so many more men at such a young age have testosterone imbalances. They can't have babies. Their wives can't get pregnant, stuff like that, because of the dietary choices and stuff they make, how much they GMO our food, how much chemical and stuff is getting sprayed on everything. And it's a big ball, all balled up and round up into one thing. And now they're starting to see on keto, you heal. You just simply heal. It's very anti-inflammatory. I'm walking around with the knees of a 60-year-old man, running, deadlifting, squatting, bench pressing, doing all these other things in the gym that I couldn't do, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, because I'm on a ketogenic diet. The inflammation in my body is so far has decreased so much that my joints are loose. It makes me get to the point where I want to get out and move. I get bored sitting in one spot now, where before I used to just pray that I can sit in one spot so I didn't hurt. I didn't want to take the medication anymore. The medication I was taking was leaving me to the point where my body wasn't functioning in certain areas. So being able to step away from that and experience the same thing, this video that I'm about to show you with Montel Williams is the very same thing that you're going to experience too if you just give it a chance. If you're a person that is wanting a testimony from somebody, I had PTSD, I have anxiety, I have depression, I had all these things. I wanted to take my own life. There were so many times after coming back from Iraq that I just wanted to end everything, that I just wanted to pile myself in buckets of ice cream over and over again, just to sob and gain my life away, because maybe something would happen to me where I wouldn't be around anymore. I mean, after years of foster care and child abuse and everything else, I can tell you right now to this day, what Montel is saying in this video, I'm going to post it in the comment section below, is true. Your body changes. Everything changes. Inflammation in your body is a killer. If you don't have a condition right now and you keep doing what you're doing and you're on a standard American diet, a Western type diet, you're going to get sick. Your life is going to be lessened by many, many, many years. These recommendations are not put out. Ketogenics is not taught in medical school and stuff, and it should be. It needs to be. And I think we're getting to the point now. You're right, it does. We're getting to the point now where it's almost going to be forced. When you see big public figures and stuff like, Al Roker, Montel Williams, Dr. Oz, all these people coming forward and saying, you know what, it's enough. We're not going to take it anymore. You got to tell the truth. I'm living, I'm thriving, I'm breathing off of this. I'm living my whole entire life like this. My family is switching to this. My kids are on it. It doesn't affect them in a negative way. Actually, my kids are straight A students now. Actually, they don't have as much of a hyperactivity outbreak. They don't have as much of the ADHD showing up. They don't have as much of the niches and stuff that they had before with outbursts in stores and things of this nature, since I've learned to switch them to a whole foods based ketogenic diet. And when I talk about a ketogenic diet, I talk about like more of a medical based or a more stricter based ketogenic diet, like maybe a lazy kind of keto, like lazy / strict, because you have to live your life as well. People are gonna have foods that they shouldn't have, but you can get back on track. You have room for those other foods if you really want to, but you can get back on track. I don't want to seem like a keto Nazi and make it seem like you can't have foods that you have now because you go keto. There's room for that stuff if you do it right. You just have to learn. You have to put in the time. You have to be in it until you get into a fat adapted stage. Learn to live the lifestyle before you make those choices. Learn what you're doing before you make those choices. Because you're going to be a kid. You're going to be an adult. You're going to want to have a weekend where you're out with your friends, not having to think about food and stuff like that. I get it. But when you come back to reality, when it's time to go back to work and live your life, raise your family, cook for your family, pay your bills, live your adult life, that's when everything comes back. Maybe have your Saturday and Sunday, once a month, where you just go eat whatever you want. But the rest of that whole entire month, it's all about eating strict or just semi-lazy keto. Just good, whole food keto. Montel Williams tells you the same thing. I will make time. If I want to go have something, sometimes I'll do it. But that's not what it's about. I want to keep my body in a clean state. If you're going to do keto, I recommend lazy / more strict keto. Be cognizant of the amount of carbs that's going into your body. A dirty style keto allots anything in the product at all. You have to be semi-conscious about the carbs that's going into your body, but a dirty style keto has corn syrups and maltodextrin and dextrose and high fructose this, and you have to be careful with that, because an if it fits type system is a disaster. It's a recipe for disaster. And there are a lot of people that they lose weight off of it, but they don't heal. They may further destroy their metabolic disorder that they have. Remember, everything spans from the gut. I'm here to testify right now that you can do it. You just have to want to do it. You have to give it a chance. That's all it is. It's my testimony tonight, guys. You can put your family on it. You can get on it. You can recommend it to your friends. You have nothing to worry about. You really don't. There are no known conditions. All it is speculation. These people that stand up in front of a camera and tell you that it's dangerous. Ketosis is an emergency state. They're lying to you. It's a very natural state. Your brain will thank you for it. Your body will thank you for it. Your lungs will thank you for it. You will breathe better. You will learn that having ketones present in your body is the very thing that blocks the conditions that ail you right now. Beta-hydroxybutyrate is the primary ketone that's available, but it is not the primary ketone that's made. So if you look at beta-hydroxybutyrate, acetoacetate, and acetone, acetone is the breath meter that you see keto people using. They blow into it and it shows ketone levels in your breath, but they're not always present. You're not always going to have some kind of acetone there at a high level to be measured with cheaper meters. You're going to have to get an expensive meter to do that. If you're reading beta-hydroxybutyrate levels, you're going to use a blood meter for that. That's your primary ketone, but all your ketones are actually made from acetoacetate. Acetoacetate is created in the body, and then your body goes through a conversion and converts the other two based on its demand. So if I'm telling you right now that you have gout, you're on a standard American diet, and you're looking for a fix, go to ketogenics. Start living a whole food-based ketogenic diet. Beta-hydroxybutyrate actually blocks the NLRP3 protein off chromosome 1. So when you have an abundance of beta-hydroxybutyrate available in the blood, naturally beta-hydroxybutyrate is going to try to block that protein that's causing that gout condition in your body. The fact that your doctor doesn't know that, and some keto guy on the internet that studies his butt off is the one that's telling you that, is sad. All medical providers should know that. But it's as simple as a dietary change can change that for you. They blame it on red meat. They blame it on animal products. That's not what causes it. It's excessive sugar and refined carbohydrates and stuff in your diet. That's what's causing the inflammation in your joints, the gout in your joints. Go start a ketogenic diet today. Throw out your vegetable oil, your canola oil, your peanut oil, any kind of seed oil, and go to an olive oil, an avocado oil, a coconut oil, a real butter, ghee, real tallow, lard, rendered fats, bacon, things like that. Those are very healthy for the body. If you're going to cook, you cook with saturated fats. You don't cook with monounsaturated fats or polyunsaturated fats. Avocado oils and olive oils are used as additions to your food, flavorings for your food, dressings for your food. When you cook in butter, you cook in ghee, you cook in bacon grease, you cook in rendered tallow, any kind of fat that comes from an animal. Those are less oxidative. They don't break down because they don't have double carbon chains, so they're very good under heat. These other high heat oils like avocado oil and these other high heat oils like avocado oil and olive oil are they're high heat fats, but they don't actually do very well in heat in general. So we're told that these are actually healthy for us to heat up. It's actually not true. They're used in addition to your food. Use saturated fats to cook in. I'm just giving you this information now so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Peanut oil has a bad omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. It can be very inflammatory. Do not use peanut oil. Do not use seed oil. Certain ketogenic protocols will let you use peanut oil, but if you actually look at what peanuts are, they are a legume. They come from like the bean family. So because they say peanut, a lot of people think, okay, that's fine for me. I can have that. That's not the truth, though. If you look at how they're made, the type of chemical separating process that you have to go through, and you look at the omega ratios, they're off. It's not an acceptable oil on a cleaner style or even like a lazy style ketogenic protocol. You wouldn't want to go that route. You would want to use a good quality oil. You would want to have it as close to animal based as possible when it comes to your oils and your fats, because that's natural. When you look at omega-3 to omega-6 ratios in general, when it comes to, you're very welcome. When you look at omega-3 ratios to omega-6 ratios when it comes to peanuts in general, we have our favorite peanuts, we have our favorite almonds and macadamia nuts and Brazil nuts and all these other things. But if you actually look at an omega chart and you look down the chart and you see how many omega-6s do I have in here per 1 ounce compared to how many omega-3s, we know omega-3 is our primary omega. Your body can take omega-3 and it can change it to whatever it wants. It can change it into a 6, and then your body can take 6 and 3, turn it into a 9. Your body makes omega-9 on its own. So we need some 6, but we don't need a lot of it. Most of the foods that we eat, even on a ketogenic diet, unless they're animal-based products, have way too much omega-6. How many keto people do you see posting their recipes and stuff up all over the place, and they got handfuls of nuts in their salads and their foods and stuff like that? Look up the omega ratio to those. One of the very important things to learning what to do on a ketogenic diet is learning the science behind it, learning the types of foods behind it, learning how to balance your meals out properly. Flaxseed oil has like 60% omega-3 and only 17% omega-6. So essentially you would look at that and say, wow, that would be a great ratio, right, Rich? Of course it would. But there's also science that says our bodies can't actually uptake the omegas from flax properly. So you're going to have to try things out and see what works for you. Some people say, well, can I have peanut butter on a ketogenic diet? Sure you can. Look at your omega ratios, though. Actually go on a strict 2 to 3 week deal, maybe 4-week deal, where you're having just basic products without all the extra additives to it, and then add peanut butter in and see how you feel. Most people are going to find it doesn't make them feel very good. The omega ratios are off. Even on the healthiest nuts that we have out there, the omega ratios are off. These things can be very inflammatory, and we don't pay attention to that. So there's a science behind this. If you learn what it takes, it don't matter if you're overweight or not. It don't matter if you're even at a stable weight and you just want to get inflammation out of your body. It doesn't matter if you're a gym rat and you just want to do better in the gym and you want to cut that inflammation that you build up while you're there. Learning to balance your meals with a whole food based way, regardless if it's keto or not, is going to yield you the best results. A lot of guys in the gym I see complain time and time again. They're rubbing their joints, they're putting salves and stuff on it afterwards, and here I am, still 40 pounds overweight, outlift them like crazy, and then walk out of the gym like nothing's going on. Get up in the morning and go to work just like no big deal. The reason is because I've learned what to do. I've learned to stay away from the things that everybody thinks is healthy, because going keto It made me want to learn more about food. And once I started learning more about food, I started learning how to balance my meals better. Once I learned that I don't need all the types of vegetables and stuff that are out there, even that are allowed on keto. What vegetables benefit me the most? What When I was eating vegetables all the time, which I'm not a big vegetable fan, what was benefiting me the most? Broccoli, because I didn't want estrogen production, right? Broccoli is actually a man-made vegetable. Broccoli doesn't grow anywhere wild in the world. It was actually a man-made vegetable by genetically modifying. It's like six or seven different types of cabbage. I think it's a cabbage-based family is what it comes from, and this is how they came up with broccoli. But broccoli has a compound in it called IC3. IC3 is a very estrogenic blocking compound. In the morning, men have higher levels of testosterone growth hormone. Towards the evening time, a lot of that it's not there anymore. Now we have estrogen production coming up. So in the evening time with your dinner, if you're keto and you're eating vegetables, having a serving or two of broccoli with your meal has a very estrogen blocking compound in it, IC3. So I know it's low glycemic, it's very healthy for me, it's got an abundance of nutrients and stuff to it, and I could use it to my benefit to keep estrogen down because I don't want that. If I have too much estrogen in my body, what's going to happen? Flabby chest, soft belly, excess water retention, stuff like that. It's going to be a little bit harder for me to lose weight. Well, if I can learn to get rid of that estrogen, it's going to actually help boost my testosterone, my growth hormone. It's going to cut that water weight down. It's going to make my chest and my tummy and stuff feel tighter. As a male, we're very insecure about that. Learning stuff like this, learning how to balance your diet is what's critical. And people don't do that. People don't even pay attention to it. Kale. I hate kale, but it's got an abundance of nutrients to it. Spinach, it's got an abundance of nutrients to it. Those are the only three things that I really enjoyed eating in salads or something like that when I was eating vegetables. I don't eat vegetables right now because I'm kind of doing like a carnivorous diet and I feel better off of it. The vegetables kind of make me sick, but they make me feel bloated, I should say, not sick. And I think it's just I don't have a tolerance to fiber. Fiber is my nemesis right now. The vegetable itself, I love the taste of it. I love the way it makes me feel in the beginning, but fiber just tears me up. It doesn't matter how healed I am. When I put fiber in my body, I almost feel like I get an inflammatory response to it. Within a day or two, I'm already feeling bad again. It's not the vegetable, it's my body doesn't agree with the fiber. I've had a problem with fiber for years, but it wasn't until I went keto that I started realizing what my problem was. I was in the hospital twice with blood in my stool. One time it was light blood and one time it was dark blood. They were severely worried about it. I was on the floor, 102 fever, had to take myself to the hospital, crawl down the stairs after being on the stair in tears for hours each time this happened. And then finally I was like, I can't do this no more. I gotta try something. Something's not working here. And I started reading more about keto. I had already been living low carb for years. I've been doing this for like almost 15 years now. Atkins first, felt great off Atkins. Then kind of just went low carb for a while, and then went all carnivore and stuff when I was in Iraq. Got hurt in Iraq, came back, felt bad about myself. Kind of got all the way up to 385 pounds. I've lost 140 pounds and gained about 30 pounds of muscle back. But now I'm going back into my cutting phase at the beginning of the year. So now, I've learned through keto what my problem is. And with me not being very receptive to vegetables, I've cut it back to carnivore. Carnivore has really stepped up the next notch here. But my message here is, it's changing. The social media stars, the celebrities and stuff like that are all starting to step forward and say, hey, you know what? They're wrong. Keto does work. And this is why it works. Let me show you. Let me tell you about my story. You guys have heard a little bit about me tonight. If you want to hear more, just let me know. I'm going to share this video with you, Montel Williams and Dr. Oz, and I want you to see that Dr. Oz has almost completely shifted his whole outlook towards keto, where before he was like recommending against it. He was kind of being sarcastic and snooty when people brought it up. It's not the case anymore. He's promoting it. He's actually telling people, hey, look what this does. Let me show you what this does. Let's get off here right now. I'm going to share the video. If you get time, go watch it. Let me know what you think about it. And I appreciate you guys. God bless and have a safe weekend.